What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I am your host and coach, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And we're talking about how to get super fit in 2024. So we're not just talking about how to be a little bit in shape, to go on walks more, some of the hacks we mentioned. We're talking to those of you who really want to build an incredible lean physique, really build amazing nutrition habits, and really just become your best self into the new year. And we were talking about this episode a bit before we turned on the mics, and there's a reason it's coming out before New Year's. If you're waiting for a specific day to get started, or you think everything's going to change on a day, and in the meantime, you may as well eat as much as you can and you'll go to the gym then, it's not going to happen. Something's going to inconvenience it. You're going to find a reason not to go. A couple of weeks in, you'll quit. So instead, with these 7 tips, and we might even add some bonus ones, we'll see, because we're both really passionate about this, and we've both done this. We've done this for ourselves. We've done this now for hundreds, if not thousands of people who have been able to achieve a transformation and keep it. And that's where we really like to separate ourselves, is we don't want to just achieve a goal for the short term and then end up paying back all that weight that we lost or all that progress we made with interest in a negative direction. Instead, you should be compounding positively. And these are the tips, like I mentioned, that we have used to get in great shape, to get in even better shape, and have more of an aspiration to continue getting in better shape. So anything you want to add before we jump in, Kyle?
And all of our amazing clients utilize all these as well. And that there's a reason we have such a high success rate, and they're all absolutely crushing it as well. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'm going to jump into number 1 here, which is just right now, as you're listening to this, start executing on your goals now. I know Josh had mentioned it slightly, but do not wait until a specific date, until a perfect situation. We find that the reason there's such a low success rate for New Year's resolutions, for, the goals that people set, is because there is some sort of magical date that they start to implement it. And it really, I don't have the study in front of me, but I just remember being blown away by how many people actually do achieve their goals. But honestly, I will say, getting started now will just get you further ahead, and it'll also just make it so it's not just a specific date that you're getting started, but also it's just, these are your goals. It's not a New Year's resolution, it's just your main goals. And I think the biggest thing as well is you really do have to have big goals. So when we talk to people who sign up, and just our clients and ourselves, we do find that the bigger the goal, just the more that it's going to push you. And that's where I think some people struggle, is if it's very tiny, it's not, you're not really gonna have to make as many changes, and it's it may not mean as much to you. And it's those that have that big goal. It's it's a scary goal. Even myself, when I'm trying to hit a personal record or a weight loss goal or a weight gain goal in terms of muscle, if it's just gain 2 pounds, to me, that's just not much. I'd rather set a much bigger goal, fail on that, and know that I've still put in way more work required. And I think that makes such a big difference. And that's number 1, and it's number 1 for a reason.
Yeah, if you feel pushed to achieve a big goal, just get started. Even if it's the small, if you're I need to lose 200 pounds so I can climb Mount Everest, and that's my goal. As silly as it sounds, you're fired up, get outside for a walk. Just do something, start planning. Take some action, connect an action towards that goal, and you'll start to see it shape up. And big, crazy transformations or big, crazy successes all start with a small decision and a small action. It's so easy to want to go just 0 to 100 and really just say, if it's not all in, then it's pointless. I'm not going to get it. But those small, boring, consistent habits. And if you start with that small walk, eventually those walks will turn into longer walks. Those will turn into hikes. Those will turn into you starting to learn to scale some bigger hills. And those will eventually perhaps get you going to being able to go to a climbing gym, and then to bridge the two together and climb some smaller mountains. And then before you know it, you're wow, I'm on Everest. I did this crazy thing that seemed absolutely impossible. And especially with those big actions, and if you do have big goals, you're I don't know how I'm going to lose 30 pounds of fat and look really good. I've never looked good in a bikini. I've never been able to put it on. I've never taken my shirt off at the beach. I don't feel comfortable around people. These big goals can happen just with small actions. But like Kyle said, you can't keep putting it off. And if you are waiting for the stars to align, it's not going to happen. There are no magic dates, magic start times. It's not a reality. And you're always going to find a reason to put that off. There is no perfect time. So if you're feeling called, you're hearing this episode, write down some goals, take some baby steps at them, and just get a little bit better. Always aim to get better. When obstacles come, just adapt, get better. And we spoke a little bit about this on Monday, so I was just happy to add a little bit more there. Number two, and this is a big one, is to create a circle around you of people that are also fit, healthy, and happy. And this might be hard. You might say, my family has no support for me. They make fun of me. They bring me down for my goals. My friends are the same way. It's just them leading you into habits that are negative. And within that, like I would say, you got to kind of analyze that with yourself. And I'm not saying you need to cut people off or anything like that, but you do want to have sources of inspiration around you. And for me, I like looking at the opposite of extremes. I like looking at people who are doing way better than me, who are absolutely crushing it, who have even crazier goals. Because even me and Kyle talk about this a lot, just the power of big think. And just when you meet someone who's done something you want to do or who is doing it at such a big scale, it just like a light goes in your mind. You're like, this is possible. And what I love too is like it's amazing. Like dominoes, we have people reach out for coaching, they get in amazing shape, and then their family reaches out, they get in amazing shape because they're like, I've seen Cassandra do it. Why can't I do it too? And like, it's just so amazing to have that thought. And if immediately you're like, I don't know who that would be for me, like watch inspirational YouTube videos, find people who fire you up, listen to this podcast. Like I'd like to hope when you're done listening to this podcast, you feel called to do more. You feel a positive attitude towards your future, your goals, your ambitions. So the more you can find people in your sphere of influence, and if you can't find people one-on-one for this, it's really important you listen to audiobooks, YouTube videos, read articles, read things, and just fuel your mind with information that is going to build you up, and slowly build your circle and find people who do have similar goals, who really nourish you as opposed to taking away from you. And you'll just be amazed too. And as you begin these habits too, it's easier to meet these people and build out these circles, which is absolutely amazing. So this was a fantastic tip. I'm happy Kyle included in here because it's a big one. Like we've mentioned before, the concept of rule of five. If you look at someone, their closest 5 friends, you'll probably know what their financial situation is. You'll probably know their physical level of fitness as well as their habits and ambitions. And it's pretty amazing too how there is a lot of truth in that. Of course, it's not hard science or anything here, but we do hold a lot of influence from those around us. And if we feel like us doing okay is so much better than everyone else, like we do unfortunately compare in our social circles. So be that leader, find a circle that kind of scares you a little bit and see that growth.
Yeah, there's honestly so many incredible people out there. You just kind of have to look for it as well. And I find that getting out there is one of the greatest ways, and joining clubs and all that other stuff, which I'll be talking about in just a little bit. But number 3, and this is a simple one as well, is just having a coach. Honestly, I love the applications when someone says like, hey, I was a college athlete and I knew I essentially succeeded because I had a coach. I had that guidance, I had support. Now I need it again. Now that I'm in the real world, I succeed like that. And I think a lot of people, like whether you've had coaches or not, no matter what, just having that extra support mechanism and someone who's unemotionally attached will always help you succeed. And if you are someone who's, never had a fitness coach, it may be a little bit uncomfortable. You athletes definitely know, because you're like, man, I would do everything because someone told me to, right? But for those of you who haven't tried it out, like honestly, it's just such a game-changing experience. I do believe that every single person needs coaches. Even us, we've had hundreds of different coaches come in here because they recognize the value of it. And if you are struggling with creating a circle that's fit, healthy, and happy, I like to say that you not only have a one-on-one coach, you have multiple coaches as well, especially when you join our community, and then hundreds of other people who are in the group, in past or present, who are able to just help you succeed, share recipes. Like everyone's going through those different situations that are very challenging, and when you have people by your side as well, it's just, you feel supported. Like you have that network of people who are just like cheering you on, who are able to support you. And I think that's why so many people struggle. And I wanted to kind of turn this into like also just like a community. I know we were talking about that for number 2, but I do believe that this is what's going to help you stay on track for 2024, is just the people around you, the coaching situation, letting your family and friends know your goals. I actually had to have a conversation with my client recently who I really wanted to see him succeed. And I had to start sharing that we really need to let those people around you in on those goals so they can hold you accountable, but they're also not pushing you to do things that essentially aren't great for your journey, because sometimes people around us are blind to our goals because we don't share them. Sometimes we're scared, sometimes we're uncomfortable, but I do believe this alone will be such a difference for you going into 2024.
Yeah, I don't have many regrets in my journey, but my biggest regret is not hiring a coach from the start. I wasted a lot of years figuring stuff out, going about it the wrong way, and just think of how much time, energy, and money you'll save by really just getting the information right from the source. Having a coach to optimize and plan your nutrition, your training, your accountability, and really to give you that big think and that just motivational power to believe in yourself to see these things through. And that's why we guarantee our program. We spent so long building it out, making it effective, and you're just going to see like 5 times the results, less of the time frame. You're going to stay away from these quick gimmicky fixes that are going to suck the money out of your wallet and leave you feeling hopeless. So if you're really wanting to level up and you want to see this change, this challenge is for you. We have amazing prizes for this. We're giving away some crazy things. There'll be over $5,000 in total prizes. You're going to get a t-shirt for signing up, and you're going to get early access rates if you reach out now. This will end just at Christmas, early access rates, so you want to get started now. Prove to yourself you're ready to get after it. So go ahead and DM us on Instagram the keyword challenge to @ColossusFit, ColossusFit. Now we're going to jump into number 4, is to choose fitness and health when you're stressed, need to escape, or go through tough times. It's real easy to feel down and to naturally want to just do something that makes you feel better. I know for a lot of people, it's grabbing a drink to close out the day, to take away that stress, to order extra food, to have a dessert, to have a lot of snacks, whatever it may be. And it's tough because a lot of people, they'll feel a little bit sad, a little bit bored, and they'll just reach for something that is not going to be a negative compound. And all these things, although these things aren't inherently horrible, like there's nothing wrong with having a dessert, it's making a habit of it and having that be your source of like problem solving. Instead, for me too, like a good workout, just when I need to clear my head, is the best thing I can do. A nice walk, getting a great sleep, like doing these things that we actually know will make us feel better. On Monday, I spoke about doing what the tomorrow you would want you to do and really living in line with that. You're just going to net feel better when you make those better decisions. When you're like, oh, I've had a tough day, I finished all my calories, whatever, I'm going to order a pizza, and then you have an extra 2,500 calories, you spent $20 to $30, you feel horrible. The next morning you wake up just fiending for water, feeling tired, and skip the gym because you know you're going to look bloated, not feel good at the gym. Like you can see how like one bad decision can really be like the string that kind of unlocks the big issue, right? Like even think of the butterfly effect, the concept that a butterfly like bats its wings, a storm or hurricane could be caused in the distance, like that kind of attitude in that opinion. And there's actually a theory for it called chaos theory. It's a really interesting point when you consider how these tiny decisions, and even I'm listening to a book right now and they had mentioned how they believe one of the biggest causes of obesity currently is from the habit of snacking. Not that snacking is bad, but it's a newer phenomenon that wasn't as present in the 1900s. And with people just snacking more and making a habit of it, they're getting a lot of excess little calories, whether you're having 3, 4, 500 extra calories a day. As we know, that adds up and that can lead to obesity, and those rates are skyrocketing. So instead, make a habit to say, I'm going to do things that build me up. Sometimes I'll just enjoy a nice water, crush a workout, go on a walk, do something athletic with friends. It's always going to feel good. I mean, we're going to like a trampoline park after this. Like you're never too old to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And just keep it, I don't know, keep it interesting. I guess like another kind of bonus here is just like find ways to make it fit into your lifestyle. I think that's where some people struggle, is like everything needs to be like, it doesn't really fit. Like for me, it just doesn't really feel like I need to do a whole lot because it's just the way my life is, like going to do these specific events, like hitting the gym. It's all natural, right? So if you can find ways to fit it in, I do believe it makes it a lot easier. And that brings me into number 5, which is just like planning ahead. So number 1 was more so about taking action now. Now, number 5 here, like I do know there will be some things that we need to kind of just start to strategize on, like get squared away, like whatever that is for you, it will be different. You could start to plan things for Thursday night volleyball league coming up in the summer to make sure that you're scheduled in and you get signed up nice and early. For some people, it might be just like starting to shop around for some meal prep services because they realize that their nutrition just hasn't been dialed in. You know, maybe even gym memberships. Like if you've been working out from home and you're like, I really want that push, so I'm going to start to try some different things out. Now's the time to just start getting those things, I guess you could say, squared away. I do know also within the holidays and it being like the month of December, there may be a little bit more time off and, you know, this work may be slower. So instead of using that time to just like kind of beat yourself up in terms of like eating poorly, skipping out on things. Like I personally am going to be using extra time to dedicate towards getting my year set up to make sure that I'm using this entire month, like we call it separation season, to my full advantage, because it's the time where a lot of people check out. So this is the time where I can just get ahead and win. And I think that's where if you're like, hey, I've got an extra week, instead of just kind of saying, oh, I'm just going to lay here and do nothing, I can get some things planned. So January 2024 will be the best month yet, and it's going to start my year off super strong. So that's my little thing. Plan ahead. It will definitely be worth it.
Anytime you plan ahead, like we said before, it's better to be ahead than behind. Know where you're going to work out, how you're going to work out, pre-log your meals, have ways of tracking, have accountability mechanisms, have goals in sight. Like, it's just the easiest hack of life, and it's going to go such a far way. And into our next one now is being willing to sacrifice what you want now for what you can get later. So going to my point too, just really putting delayed gratification, like this is the number one, I'd say, habit of people that have a lot of money, who are like really fit and healthy, is being able to delay instant gratification. We all know if we did whatever we wanted whenever we wanted to, it'd be a pretty sad life and we'd burn out really quick. And it's hard. Sometimes you're like, I just want to do what I want. I want to just eat desserts the entire day, but it comes at a cost. And understanding that cost and being able to have that forward thinking and to really kind of understand why you do what you do and to take joy in the simpler just enjoyments of life. And it's something I think you need to desensitize yourself to, especially if you are used to a lot of dopamine, eating whatever you want, having no control, not taking care of yourself. It is a big adjustment, but it can be done with small little changes.
100%. And if anyone's looking for a great resolution, this is going to be number 7. Once again, don't love that word, but just something that, like, you know, one thing actually I wanted to mention is I love when clients, like I had someone share with me, like each year they have a word that they like stick to, and that's like kind of their theme, and they follow through with it, which is pretty cool. But I'm gonna have to say just like no excuses. Like that's gonna be my thing for you for this year. Of course, start that now. That's the biggest thing, and I really want to stress that within this episode. But I think like if this year you catch yourself, like anytime you go to make some sort of excuse, like I'll always catch myself. Like there will be times, and you know, I love when people do this, like where I start to say something, I'm like, oh, I didn't have enough time. Oh no, you know, I did have enough time. I just didn't want it bad enough. And I heard someone say that in the gym recently, and he was like 60 something, and he caught himself, and he just straight up said, no, I actually did have enough time. And then just kind of explained it. I'm like, man, I love that. So my biggest thing here is just don't look for excuses, look for reasons, look for solutions. And honestly, like if you can do that for an entire year, honestly, even an entire month, like it'll be absolutely game changing. And if you need to make your background no excuses, if you need to, you know, write on a big piece of paper every time you sit at your desk, like whatever that is, like I truly believe that that alone will turn you into the best version of yourself. And you're going to become unstoppable. You're going to believe in yourself so much more. People around you are going to start wondering what the heck happened to this person. Like they're dependable. They show up. It's an amazing thing. And I love when I hang around people, like kind of going off of number 2, creating a circle that's fit, healthy, and happy. Another one is just like no excuses. Like stay around people who are just like willing to show up, who are willing to put their best foot forward. And that alone can definitely change your life, in my opinion.
Well, thank you for tuning in today. Once again, if you're ready to level up 2024, use these 7 tips and let us do the hard work for you. If you want a done-for-you program where we give you the exact instructions and know-how of what to do in a way that is sustainable and healthy to your schedule, your time frame, as well as your goals to make sure you're seeing better results faster, guaranteed, this is your chance with our New Year's challenge. Go ahead and DM us on Instagram, the keyword challenge, to take advantage of this, to be entered to win our $5,000 in prizes, get your shirt, and just most importantly, achieve your dream physique in the new year. So once again, DM us on Instagram. Our Instagram is @ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT, the keyword challenge to get started today.